First things first, I know I committed to doing stream and classwork tabs in this second tutorial, but upon further review I decided to do the classwork tab in another future video. This is because it's perhaps the most complex tab of them all and requires special attention. Instead, in this video we're going to go through the stream tab and an overview of the people tab. Doing those would prepare you sufficiently for the classwork tab, and we're going to dive straight in. To get to where I am now, you go to classroom.google.com, sign in if you haven't already, and finally click on the class you already made. Did you not make a class? Then you're in the wrong tutorial chat. Check out the link in the upper right or check in the description below for a link to the first tutorial where you would learn how. Alright, so back to the stream tab. What is it? Well, you could think of it as something similar to your Facebook timeline or your Twitter stream, where things are posted in chronological order by time. You could make posts, you could comment on those posts, and you could delete them. By default, students and other teachers in your class could create and comment on those posts as well, something that we will talk about a little bit later though. However, we're going to jump back in to the page because I want to run through the structure of what you're looking at. From the upper left, you'll see that there's this hamburger button, which is the main menu. Right next to that is the name of the class, and if you click on it, it will take you to this very page. Next to that, in the center, you'll see that there are 4 tabs: Stream, Classwork, People, and Grades. Next to that, you'll see a gear icon. This is for the settings of the specific class that you're already in. Next to that, you'll see the 9 dots on the profile picture, which we already talked about in the first tutorial. Alright, so that's the top bar. We're going to go a little bit lower. You'll see that you have an area with a large picture and some details. That include the name, the class, and you also see that there's a class code. Now the class code is a unique identifier which could be given to your students so that they could join or enroll in your class. The code could be changed or deactivated when you see fit. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But to continue on the lower right of the picture, there are options. You can select a theme, which when open, you'll see gives you a list of options to choose from. This is for if you are mainly interested in changing the color of the text of titles and headings in the class. You could change that if you wish, and when you come out, you'll see another link that allows you to change the photo, should you want to customize the class a bit further. Finally, in this area, you'll also see that there's an arrow pointing down. When clicked, it gives additional information on the class. That information would have been what you would have given when setting up the classroom. How are you doing? It's not tough, right? So we're going to go straight on to the left side, which is called Upcoming. As you fill your class with assignments and quizzes with due dates, they will be shown right here as a sort of shortcut and a reminder that they, the students, have something due or ongoing. On the right is the area of the stream or the timeline itself. To make a post is simple enough. Click on Share Something with your class. You type something, like a welcome announcement like I'm doing now. And depending on the type of post you're making, you can make attachments that the students could refer to. To do that, on the lower left, you'll see a paperclip icon and an add button. When clicked, options will drop down, which will allow you to add something from your Google Drive, or a link to a particular website, or a file which you may have on your computer that you want to upload. Finally, you could also add a YouTube video. I'm not going to attach anything, so I'll just click out. On the lower right, you'll see that you can cancel making the post, or you can just click post. Before I do so, I want to point out that the arrow next to the point button, when clicked, would allow you additional options such as scheduling the post, should you want the students to see that post in a particular time, or an option to save the post, which as a draft would just save the post. You notice that I'm skipping over 2 boxes here. And before you start to panic, Michelle, calm down, have a sip of water, and we'll take a couple seconds to let everything seep in a bit. Trust the process. I know what I'm doing. For free, mind you. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because it's also free. Anyway, so remember that gear icon on the upper right? I want you to click on that. That brings up the settings for this particular class that you're in. In here, we're going to go through the first 2 sections. The first one, called class details, we could breeze through because that's something you're already familiar with thanks to the first tutorial. The good news is that if you made an error or you want to revise it, you could do so now or at any time in the future. The second section is called General, and you'll see that it gives you the ability to manage an invite link and class code. By going to the right side, to get additional options, click on Enabled. Other options include Disabled, should you no longer want to have your class associated with the given code, or Reset, which generates a brand new code for the class should you believe that the code has been compromised. For completeness, if you want to give your students a direct link to the class so that they can join, you can see that you have an invite link already made for you, which you can copy by clicking on the button on the right. There's the class code in case you missed it, and the class view just makes the information larger on the screen. Below the invite code is a section where I believe we are going to start to differ and diverge, so please pay attention. I like to call the Stream tab as a sort of notice board, where you as a teacher could make announcements and class-wide quick notes, and therefore not necessarily want the direct input of students to tarnish that board. Now, if you as a teacher have complete faith in the maturity of your students, then in theory, you could let them comment on your posts publicly for all to see. That is what they could do by default. However, if you're like me and you have no trust, then you'll be happy to know that there are other options. On the right of where you see Stream, you'll notice that by default, students could post and comment. That is, on the stream. If we click on that, you'll see additional options, which include that students can only comment on posts that you would have made, and another option where only teachers could post and comment. Again, this is only for the Stream tab. Everyone would still be able to comment in different capacities, but your Stream tab would remain clean, for lack of better words. You're welcome. So I'm going to choose that option. Moving on, you'll see classwork on the stream. What does this mean? Well, in the other tab next to Stream, called Classroom, is where you would post projects, quizzes, assignments, and the thing is, if you make a post there, a notification is also made in the Stream tab. That may work for you, but in most class settings, I believe that if you're looking for classwork, you should go in the classwork setting, or tab, sorry. And if you're looking for the announcements, you should go in the Stream tab. That way, I have all students accessing what I as a teacher would want in the specialized area. To wrap up this section of the Settings tab, if you as a teacher delete something and want to be able to still see it, you may enable that option should you want to reference it in the future. You do that by sliding the button on the right, to the right. And that's about all I'll go through for today in the Settings tab. I'll stop there for now. Save whatever changes I would have made by clicking on the Save button in the upper right. And there you go, the Stream tab. We're not yet through because there's one more thing I want to show you before we conclude. Yes, Chad, take a sip of coffee. We're going to go on to the People tab. There's not much to see here, and that's why I'm quickly going through it. If you want to invite a teacher to your classroom, you could click on the button on the right of Teachers. You could click the button next to Students, should you want to invite students as well. When adding students, you can copy the link to the class if you enabled it, as explained earlier. Or you may add them via email addresses. To do that, you can type all of them in the field, and then, when completed, click on Invite. Note that the smoothest process is the one where students already have a Gmail account, because to use Google Classroom, you need to have a Gmail or Google account. And we made it. We went through the Stream tab. We learned how to customize it by changing the theme and the photo. We learned how to make a post. We went into the class settings to see additional options for the class codes, the invite links, as well as how we want the Stream tab to behave as it pertains to allowing students to comment or post on the Stream tab, as well as if we want classwork notifications to also appear in the stream. We also learned how to add teachers and students to the class from the People tab. The next video for teachers would undoubtedly be the most important one. You'll pay most attention to that, because we're going to go through the Classwork tab. I have an interesting way to do that tutorial, so to make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss it. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and comment below if you'd like to see anything in particular or to comment anything really. I'm Alphonsus, by the way. Follow me on social media, and I'll see you in the next one.